what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do.
American Hostile Championship Wrestling brings you Battle of the Bad Boys. That's right, the Battle of the Missouri Bad Boys. May the 18th, 2019. Bell time is 8 o'clock p.m. Caruthersville Armory, 801 West 3rd Street, Caruthersville, Missouri. First row tickets to Golden Row, only $15. Row 2, Silver, $13. Row 3, Bronze, $11. General admission is $10. Kids 5 and under, free with a paid adult. For advance tickets, call Mark at 636-232-3313 or James at 573-359-8696. As you guys know, I've done advertising for the American Hostile Championship Wrestling for a long time, but let me tell you something here, guys. Missouri Renegade against Mark Southern. If you're in the Tennessee area, Arkansas area, Missouri, right there in the Boot Hill, Missouri, these two guys started together. Let me key you in on a little secret here. These two guys don't like each other. Not at all. This is not a work. They're not friends on Facebook. Mark Southern against Missouri Renegade Street Fight. Guys, you want to be there. Nothing nice, Gavin Tice. Also, the LA Hustlers. Beer 30 will be there. Jason Vaughn and Derek King. Be there! This one's going to be crazy.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Mysterious Productions. Let's get spunky. What we doing? Gotta get your money by using that spunky tonight.
Shooting the Shiznit is sponsored by SpunkLube.com. SpunkLube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. SpunkLube is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. Place your order today at SpunkLube.com and tell them Shooting the Shiznit sent you.
Now, me and her been at it for a couple of rounds. When things got dry, man, I put out the tube. I gotta get her wet by using my Spunk Lube. Nice and smooth, wet and
Blue Chew can now offer you the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis at a fraction of the price, discreetly delivered to your door. No waiting rooms, no appointments required, no embarrassing face-to-face meeting with your doctor. You're just minutes away from a heightened sex life.
Use promo code STS. Get your first month free. All you have to do is pay postage and handling. Now on with the show.
Tonight, Jerry Lawler, I'm going to prove when you mess around with hot stuff, you're going to get burned.
Tonight's the night that Eddie Gilbert starts to live up to his name. He calls himself Hot Stuff. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make him real hot tonight.
If you ever try it again, I'm going to kill you, Jack. Do you understand what I said? If I got to run you over with my car, you want to be nuts? Well, I can be a little nuts too, Daddy. So it ain't playing no wrestling games, Jack. I'm talking about fact. You're not throwing nothing in my face, and you ain't sneaking up behind and doing nothing to the superstar. Because I'm taking you out, brother, and I mean all the way out. And that's a fact, Jack.
In the Twilight Zone now! In the Twilight Zone! Yeah. Monday! Yeah.
Oh yeah, music career, son of a gun. Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell and Dave Brown, and we're right along ringside, all ready to kick it off for another big day.
Hey, before we get started here today, I just wanted to quickly say this is part 1 of the Randy Hales interview. We sat down and talked for close to 70 minutes, over 70 minutes. So I want to make this into 2 parts. The first part coming out as the second episode of this week. following the Forrest Putnam interview. And then next week, we will be having part 2 as the first episode of next week. All right, guys, remember, hashtag MIM. We're giving away a big loot box, which also includes some Power Pro Wrestling, a Love My Mama t-shirt, and tons of other stuff from our sponsors. Please, hashtag MIM. Now we're going to get a quick commercial and then on with the show.
Hankey's Toys is the place for your adult toys. All toys sold on this site are made of the finest 100% platinum silicone. From the texture, firmness, length, and width, Hankey's Toys are designed to please. Hankey's Toys takes a lot of time and effort to develop each toy. Reach them on Twitter at Hankey's Toys. Search YouTube Hankey's Toys and see the unboxing of many of their products. Also go to www.mrhankeystoys.com. That's right, mrhankeystoys.com, and use promo code SHIZNIT10 at checkout for 10% off your order.
Live from STS Studios in St. Louis, Missouri, and I have waiting the owner, the founder, and the president of Power Pro Wrestling, Randy Hales. How's it going, Randy?
I am good, and I said this when you were on my show. I had you on before you had me on this particular show, but anyway, I've got to say it again. Hell has frozen over. So I'm ready to rock and roll. Do it to it. I am as ready as I can be, Brian. Good to be here.
That's right, Randy. I want everyone to go back. I want you to, we're not going to rehash everything we talked about in episode 13, but I found it interesting. You told me things that I didn't know and vice versa. And there was I don't know. I guess there was a hate relationship there for a while. We had heat, as they say in wrestling. But really great to have you on here. You actually was on Shooting the Shiznit when Gene interviewed a long time ago. But this is the first time you've been on this incarnation of it. Episode 13 of Randy Hales podcast, guys. Let's look up Randy Hales Memphis wrestling history, right? Is that what we do?
Yeah, well, to go to the podcast, this is podavenue.com/Hales. That's the best way to go directly to the list of archives. And now, believe it or not, this next show that we will do, because I know you have told me, you've smarted me up to when this is playing. So the next time the people can hear a new Randy Hales Memphis Memories show will be show number 28. So I'm behind you, but I'm catching up. I'm creating podcast magic. At least that's what I'm trying to sell here. But I'm a wrestling guy. So I'm a promoter, so I'll inflate it, but I would appreciate everybody. And I had fun. We did it kind of late one evening. It was Valentine's Day, I think.
It was. It was Valentine's Day.
I bet that really pissed your wife off, and that was my attention. That was my attention to make your life miserable at home, and I hope so bad. We should have done this on Mother's Day. We'd have really pissed her off.
She was studying, so, and then she said, I couldn't believe you spent Valentine's Day with Randy Hales. The wife is good at supporting this, so that's a cool thing. I've sat and listened to almost every episode. I really like listening to some of the stuff that when you bring on guys that like Robert Fuller, Ron Fuller, those two interviews are also something for you guys to go look for. I remember those guys, but I was a huge I liked Robert Fuller, but didn't know a bunch about Ron. Just a really smart guy, good to interview with him. But like last year we brought kind of like some of the outlaw guys on here to talk, and we also brought on Derek King, Dustin Starr. This year we started with the big guns with Jerry Jarrett. We brought on Forrest Putnam from the Missouri Boot Hill area as kind of an outlaw guy. And now you, Randy. When you started Power Pro, let's just start there. Why start Power Pro? What made you say, okay, I want to start a wrestling promotion? Or was that something you want to do at all time?
Well, actually, I don't know if I would say that I wanted to do it at all times, because I'm even a year and a half before, it never entered my mind. I was assuming that the way it was going, completely with Jerry Jarrett and with Jerry Lawler and me, obviously big part of in the mix. I didn't ever think about it. But then when it went away, when the USWA went away in 97, I went away before it went away, because the people that purchased the companies, I thought something is up, something's not right. I didn't want to be a part of it, and that's another story for another day, Brian. But at the same time, Dave left, I left, Jerry Jarrett out of the picture, Eddie Marlin out of the picture, Randy West out of the picture. It was just not the same. And I basically knew in the back of my head, I have a good relationship with a lot of people, including the big shots at Channel 5 and at a lot of these buildings, and I don't want to screw it up and be lumped in with these yahoos that I knew were yahoos, and I knew they weren't going to be successful. So I got out to protect myself, and because I was miserable, a couple of different reasons. And it was canceled, and shortly thereafter, a week or two, month or two, whatever, I don't exactly remember, I made a phone call to Channel 5, got a meeting with Mason Granger, and the rest is history. It was easy. It was easy to do. I mean, it was a piece of cake, and of course, I had to have a name change. Legally, I felt that I needed to change I was pushing it because I knew that it was a possibility that legally they would come after me, or tried to cause some problems, and they did. And obviously I knew that I needed some people, including myself, including Dave Brown, Corey Macklin, Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, and others that were a part of Memphis Wrestling and the USWA. But I wanted certainly to make the program different. I wanted the production to be different, the look to be different. I wanted the concept of the show from being geared toward basically infomercial for live events. I knew from the get-go this would be geared as a television program, a television show, and also was in the process, before we even had our first show, in the process of trying to make the relationship with the WWF, of course WWE now, I was trying to make that happen, and developmental came along with it. And so one of the most proud things of the show, even though so many of my great memories are of the classic Memphis Wrestling show, as a television program, I am really proud of what we did. Now, not every show was great. I'll say that. And I will say there was some shitty shows. I don't know if we can cuss or not, so you can blame me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I won't be too bad at all in the profanity, but I'm not Jim Cornette. Maybe I am in real life. But I try, unless I get mad, unless you piss me off, Brian, which we know is a absolute possibility.
Sure.
And if that happens, that happens. But at the same time, I am really proud of the overall quality and the product of Power Pro Wrestling. Still big time attached. And if you, as we're recording this, if you've read, it's Derek King's birthday. And if you looked at my social media and see the response, we still all, especially the Power Pro originals and the young guns, the mainstays, we still, believe it or not, almost 20 years after the fact, our relationship is just, there's a bond there that will never break. And because I'm the oldest of the bunch, probably the first funeral as a group that they go to of one of us, one of the originals, will be me. Now, isn't that a bunch of crap?
Yeah, that's Derek, Allen, those two guys. The funny thing is, even after all these years, you talk about the originals, and I seen a report from one of the boys this past, I guess it was a couple weekends back, that said, Allen had one of the better matches they've seen in this area in years, and they went 30-something minutes, and I got this huge smile on my face because I always see that about Derek also. But it's the idea that, when you pick these guys, you picked a hell of a roster, and it was exciting. I liked the show. And the funny thing is, we're giving away, thanks to you, we're also giving away Power Pro Wrestling as part of a loot box. It's the whole time when Cornette was there, which I missed. I opened up a business during that time, and I missed that time, so I'm going to sit down and watch it. But every time I watched it, the one thing I liked most about it was that at times we felt, as fans, I did as a fan, felt like even though you needed the older guys like Lawler Dundee, that the younger guys weren't getting a chance. And when Power Pro came on TV, I felt like that and with Brandon, when Brandon got, a major part of the booking and helping you and everything, you guys decided it's time to have like a new reign. The younger guys, they need to be pushed also.
And that was a plan from the get-go before. Brandon didn't get here to show number 2, but obviously we introduced the Young Guns division in the first show. That was a plan all along. You have to have new blood. And I want to go back to just something you said, because I know your personality. I know how you are. I know you in the back of your mind, you are going to try to get something controversial, something newsworthy out of my mouth. And you've already given me opportunity to say that, or opportunity to express my feelings, or opportunity to piss some people off, because several different times you said the word outlaw. Well, you can go to Jim Cornette Experience or the drive-thru or whatever and hear all about that. But the one thing you said most recently, you said you have talked to one of the boys. Well, Brian, no offense to you, but your definition of one of the boys is different than what my definition of one of the boys is. Maybe it's because I'm old. Maybe it's because I'm from another era. Maybe it's because I'm from the territory days. But, and I really, Outlaw Mud Show, I hate using those terms because most of them really want it bad. Most of them really work hard. Now, obviously and unfortunately, a great majority of them don't look the part, and they don't sacrifice the things that top wrestlers in Memphis and all over used to do. And it's not any fault of them. They're not on the road 2,000 miles a week. They're not in the plane. They're not day to day. They're not working 10 matches a week. They're not going year round. They're not working sick as a dog because the money mattered. Now in most cases they don't do it for the for the money. Back then, pretty much, except for the enhancement talent, the job guys that we had on television, they got paid a little bit, but barely gas money. But basically everybody else on a full-time roster on a wrestling company didn't have a second job, didn't have time to have a second job, made a living, and at times, depending on business at the time, made great money. I said in a recent podcast, talking about my payoff, and then you have to use, as Cornette says, the inflation calculator. On Monday, March the 7th, 1994, the first USWA Memphis Wrestling Monday Night Memory Show. For the one night, Brian, my payoff, I did the payoffs and paid myself $150. However, Jerry Lawler expected myself to what he felt would be underpay myself. So when I got my check for that night, it was close altogether, real close to a $2,000 a week. But I got $1,000 just for that one night. And in 2019 money, that's a hell of a payoff. I'll take
$1,000 right now for one night if you want to give it to me. I mean, that's excellent money, and that's what I meant by what I really meant. Not really the way wrestling has evolved, and you're right about everything you said about the Outlaws now. Really, like, you see Jerry Lawler, Dustin Starr, Derek King. I don't consider those guys. You see them kind of being the main events on some of these shows. Like you said, guys don't get to work so much. I more was talking about, back when I started watching wrestling and you were part of there was guys like, and this was part of what I was going to ask you. You had guys like Sarge O'Reilly and the jobbers that were the top jobbers. Ken Raper, David Haskins comes to mind. You mentioned something that he had this huge break but he didn't take it because something was happening on an Outlaw show or something. You never did tell the whole story, and I was going to ask about that. Were you guys keeping those? You didn't want them to do Outlaw shows, the jobbers, or did you kind of control what you wanted them to do? Then, and in Power Pro, did you ever tell your guys, don't go to these shows and do jobs?
No, we were open during the Power Pro days, and because the fact I knew kind of what everybody was drawing, I knew that if they did a job, it wouldn't hurt us in the least. Now, my brain is fried a little bit. I don't remember what you said about what you were talking about with David Haskins. I don't remember that at all. Just my memory normally is good, but in that case, I have no recollection of it or not. Then back in the day before then, there were, especially in the USWA, not in Power Pro, and the only difference was in Power Pro wasn't a full-time live event company that went to Nashville and Louisville and everywhere. So we didn't allow, and it was a rule. Goes back to the era of Nick Goulas, even before Jerry Jarrett, before Jerry Lawler, certainly before me, that you just couldn't allow that. So they were not allowed. Then a lot of times, especially if you look at the mid 90s, there was people that I would have used better in stories if they would have committed to a full-time job. However, some of them, like I remember Scott Bowden, even back before that, Jerry Calhoun, people that had FedEx jobs. Big Lou Winston had a real good job. Jerry Bryant had a real good job. All those sort of things. So for the most part, with some exceptions, and the exceptions being someone like Jerry Lawler, who was the owner of the company. So if he wanted to work 8 days a week or 1 day a week, I would do exactly what he wanted to do, because that's just what we dealt with. But most of the time, you needed the people that you went with all the way, and you need them available for all the towns. And it wasn't so much you felt the independent promotions would hurt you just running a show, but you felt that it would hurt you if you didn't have available for shows you were selling tickets for with the people they see on TV. So a lot of the people, Ken Raper was very underrated. David Haskins, of course, had that run, the Rat Patrol or whatever, with Roy Rogers, Johnny Rich up in Knoxville.
Davey and Johnny Rich and Tommy Rich, one of the biggest runs ever there in Knoxville and Dothan. Just so popular. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Those guys, Sarge O'Reilly actually still wrestles. Never was a horrible worker. He bumped like crazy, and that's what made him fun to watch on as a jobber. But I always wondered, and I understand that's perfect logic. Because you would, what if you did need David Haskins for Friday night because someone wasn't going to show up, and then they would be working some outlaw show. I understand that now. All right, Randy, we're going to take a quick break for commercial, and then we're going to come right back.
This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills.
I've tried Cialis, I've tried Viagra. Blue Chew works the best. It's a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's definitely gotten the job done.
No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line. No more awkwardness.
Blue Chew allowed me to have more sexual freedom because it kicked in and worked faster.
Ordering Blue Chew is an absolute no-brainer for any man. Blue Chew makes my girlfriend, want to put up with me in bed.
I felt like I did when I didn't have ED.
Order online to get your first month free.
I want my girlfriend to want me, and with Blue Chew, she really does. Blue Chew is the future of manhood.
Go to BlueChew.com and restart the party. Or call 800-232-8803. 800-232-8803.
That's BLUE Chew.com. Promo STS, and you get to try it for free.
Wow.
I hear you.
Wow.
What you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you? Tell me what you gonna do.
American Hostile Championship Wrestling brings you Battle of the Bad Boys. That's right, the Battle of the Missouri Bad Boys. May the 18th, 2019. Bell time is 8 o'clock p.m. Caruthersville Armory, 801 West 3rd Street, Caruthersville, Missouri. First row tickets to Golden Row, only $15. Row 2, Silver, $13. Row 3, Bronze, $11. General admission is $10. Kids 5 and under, free with a paid adult. For advance tickets, call Mark at 636-232-3313 or James at 573-359-8696. As you guys know, I've done advertising for the American Hostile Championship Wrestling for a long time, but let me tell you something here, guys. Missouri Renegade against Mark Southern. If you're in the Tennessee area, Arkansas area, Missouri, right there in the Boot Hill, Missouri, these two guys started together. Let me key you in on a little secret here. These two guys don't like each other. Not at all. This is not a work. They're not friends on Facebook. Mark Southern against Missouri Renegade Street Fight. Guys, you want to be there. Nothing nice, Gavin Tice. Also, the LA Hustlers. Beer 30 will be there. Jason Bond and Derek King. Be there! This was going to be crazy.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
All right, I want to bring my old buddy Mark Southern in. Mark, we got a huge show. We always talk about the shows here on the show before the show. This is the episode before the Saturday, and man, this is a big match for you. Battle of the Bad Boys. We talked to Forrest. We talked to you. Like I said on the commercial, I don't want to say shoot. I don't want anyone to get hurt because I don't think anyone's going to get hurt. But you guys don't like each other, and it's not going to be pretty, is it?
That's right. It's going to be pretty ugly, just like the Missouri Renegade is. Yeah, we go back a long time, BT. But his head is pretty big and swelled up, and his ego is going to be a reality check come Saturday night.
And guys, I unfortunately I won't be able to be there. I'm going to get someone to videotape this for me. I'm excited about seeing it. And if you want to, this is all about, it's going to be a stiff match. You guys have fun. But it's, if you want to see anything that is real as real can be, go Saturday night. Now, if you're in Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, you're driving distance. You could get on the interstate. You could hit Crowsville, Missouri. This is the show to be to on Saturday night. I don't care if you go to Boys Show on Saturday night, if you go to Osceola on Fridays. I don't care what you do. Stop doing what you do for that night. And it's not just because they advertise on here. It's because I actually believe in this. Go watch this show. Mark, I do want you to go out, though, and talk about quivering your liver.
All right, come Saturday night at End of an Era, Missouri, May 18th. I'm going to quiver a liver, shed a bladder, make the earthquake, the walls shake, and Forrest Putman's heart break. Because where you're big, tall, little, small, Mark Southern with some more.
All right, back in there, we was talking about outlaw wrestling. One of the things I was going to ask you about, Randy, there's all kinds of terms. Like I remember when I was putting some psychology stuff on the original WrestlingRideOnline.com, I said double down. That was one of the words that I used. And Bo James reached out to me and said, hey, it's double knockout. It's not double down. And now some of the new guys all say double down. So that kind of, I understood where that was coming. Here's something I've always wanted to ask somebody about, and I just forget every time I write it down. I was going to ask Dundee about it, but I'm going to ask you about it. The old secret handshake. So tell me, is this a legit thing, or is this something that the outlaw wrestlers made up?
It's something, just basically the loose working handshake basically is what you're referring to, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And for some reason, the outlaw guys, and it's the thing, it's not their fault. It's just not had the opportunity to be around full-time wrestlers, basically. And right. Guys, if you don't do this full-time, you're not a full-time wrestler. That's all there is to it. And that happened a lot. And I don't know where it happened, where it started, but the psychology of it was probably one veteran wrestler probably was a green guy telling a green guy, say, this is what you do. To show the fact you're not stiff, shake a wrestler's hand like this. This is what I figure has happened. I don't know who did it, but I guarantee you this is what happened. So they did the light handshake. So that's what all the outlaw group did. They thought it was a signal. They thought it was inside, when in reality, like if you shake Bill Dundee's hand like that, you'll get a cussing. If you shake Danny Hodges' hand, and by the way, happy 80 from the day we're recording, and I forget that you're way ahead of the ball game, but as we record, it's Danny Hodges, the great Danny Hodges' 87th birthday. See what kind of information you get.
I know, hell, I mean, bring you on for history.
Yeah, man. I'm just like Brandon Baxter, my good buddy in Jonesboro at 7:15 every morning, Monday through Friday. They do a happy birthday segment, and I always have loved that. And get mad when he doesn't do the happy birthday to me, but he always does. He didn't need a memory of that. He's got, he's not horrified, but he knows that if I feel slighted, how I'll react. But anyway, Danny Hodge, if somebody shook his hand like that, and I know it's a different era. But hey, Brian, I was looking at video just because I saw it was Danny's birthday today. I was looking online, not at video, but I saw a picture. When he was 80 years old, 7 years ago, he did a thing where he was at the Oklahoma State of Representatives, and at the state courthouse or state offices or capitol, whatever you want to call it, of the state of Oklahoma. and they had a picture of 80-year-old Danny Hodge surrounded by all the big shot congressmen, state congressmen, everybody's around. There's a little trash can in the middle of the floor, and Danny Hodge in a suit. He was wearing a dead-gum stinking suit, and you need to look at his wiki page. I think that's where it is, because he squeezed the apple at 80 stinking years old. At 80 years old, into the trash can. So yeah, that sort of thing. And then let's go back to the double down. And even though a lot of the guys have been around in the good old days, realize things change, and I try to keep up with that, but I do get frustrated a lot at the terminology, even though I realize that if you go to the WWE or AEW or New Japan, these guys are talking like that. It's just the change of the times. I understand that, but at the time when people say double down, it just drives me crazy. First time I heard that, just blew my mind. Double knockdown, double knockout. That's if you were calling in the ring and doing the spot, the heel would call it, and he would just say, "Shoot me in, double knockdown, double knockout." That, not no freaking double down. Not no freaking double down.
I know. You both said something, and I actually emailed you at the time, and you had sent something back to me also. And it's just, when I started the website and then started going through just basic WWE psychology, some of the guys were just. Some of the guys had no idea what I was talking about. I mean, and it's just because they, like you said, they didn't work a long time. They didn't understand what a hot tag was and stuff like that. So that was fun to talk about. But you're right, the terms do change. And I mean, I remember talking to Derek about this, and he was like, "Yeah, the older guys use this, but we use this, and it's kind of different, but it means the same thing." What I was watching a match for, Was It Really That Good? And it was Jurioski against Randy Savage when they put the belt on Oski. And since we did air that, you was ringside. I text you and said, "Did you do the commentary?" And you go, "Man, it was X amount of years ago. What the hell?" You're like, "What the hell? Am I supposed to remember everything?" But it reminded me of how excited and how you brought Lance Russell, Dave Brown, my all-time most favorite. I like Jim Ross. I like Gordon Soley. But you brought a different excitement when you were commentating, when there was something like a title change or the thing with the pile driver that you were commentating on. And I don't know. I want to know that they did smarten you up. This is what's going to happen for the finish. Like you knew the title change was going to happen, but it never sounded like that. You were just fantastic in putting it over. What did you just say, "I'm going to forget the title's going to change"? What made you do that? I mean, you were so good at it.
Well, it just depends on the era, and that obviously is the goal of any announcer, making it sound like he's seeing it and hearing it for the first time. Mm-hmm. But as I go back, I was certainly smart from, and it was acknowledged from maybe, I would say 78 on, something like that. But as far as that and the Oski match with Randy Savage, let's use that as an example. Was that from Louisville?
Yes, it was. It sure was. That place was packed too. They were, and you said the match was going 30-something minutes, and those guys were still going at it. I mean, it was hot and heavy that night.
Well, I would say at the time, because here's the thing, that we had a camera there, and that was unusual. It had been done, and we would do it again, but it didn't happen a lot because obviously Tuesdays was the day our video guy had to put everything together, and it would get him a day behind from dubbing and putting stuff together. It would screw up his week, but we did it that night. 85, Tom Renesto the original assassin with Jody Hamilton would have been the booker there. And at the point, I was going every week to Louisville as the ring announcer. I graduated college from 84, was on the road as an announcer and also helping Eddie Marlin run spot shows. I wasn't officially in the office to 86, but the cameras, for some reason, they needed stuff shot. And so Randy West would have just told me, or Tom Ernesto, and say, hey, we need you to do play-by-play. And I guarantee you, 110% guarantee you, I did not know that finish. I did not know that finish at all. I wouldn't have known the Savage finish with the Oski. However, didn't we switch the tag titles in Louisville one time as well?
I don't remember that, but us watching that show and looking at it, it really was just magic. And if anyone wants to go back and watch, we put the link a couple times on Twitter, but it's actually what wrestling's all about. It's in this packed, crazy building with the fans are still, they brought them up and down probably a couple of times, but they got them back up at the 30-minute mark, and you're doing this announcing and you're feeding off the crowd too. And as soon as the belt, your voice goes to a different octave, the title, and the whole 9 yards. And it was, I always was a huge fan of Lex Luger when he won the belt. He would jump up and down and everything, and that's what it sounded. But you brought something different, and I think, I think you was kind of underrated in a sense. You had the best. You worked with the best, Lance and Dave. So I always enjoyed listening to you when they did the shows on the Jackson Show, because I didn't know your voice at first when you were just doing the arena stuff. But that and what was it? Randy Savage, Pile Drive, and Ricky Morton. That's another clip you guys can hear Randy really having a great time with that.
And that's the Rock and Roll Express, and that was, I was guessing, around 84, not positive. The Rock and Roll Express against the Poffos, Randy Savage and Lanny Poffo. And it was a great match, and that was, to my knowledge, the first time a table ever broke. And I got too excited there and got mad at myself and ended up coming across as the biggest geek in the history of the world. Because here's the thing, another time, this is in the 80s, people will laugh at me for saying this now, but I said when that pile driver, and certainly I didn't know that was coming, because they didn't know it was coming. That's what people don't understand. Every spot, every move, everything wasn't talked about. I am sure not only did they not go in the match knowing they were going to break a table at the end, they didn't even know that they were going to do a pile driver on the table. It was just the freedom of the heel to do that. They just had a finish, babyface over, heat afterwards, and the heels decided what to do, heat afterwards. That's what happened. And then, as I was in shock, it was right in front of me, right almost in my lap, and I said, oh my God! And then I thought to myself, well, you stupid son of a gun, you can't say, oh my God, on television. So then, this is where I look like a complete 100% geek and goof. I change it when I should have left it the same. I should have left it with, oh my God, it was a great call before Joey Styles ever dreamed of it. Oh my God, at that power driver. Then I changed it to, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm getting mad at myself. I'm cussing myself out. I'm slapping myself in the face right now. I'm embarrassed by that one word said. However, that is probably the most exciting and event that I ever called, and it just my dream from a kid was to be the next Lance Russell and Dave Brown. The bad thing was I didn't have the talent to do that. Certainly wouldn't want to be the ones that followed them, but I had a talent that I was excelled in and was better than most in, and adding work ethic to it really helped. But the office stuff, the booking, the creative, I was very good at that. And so with Power Pro, I could have on Power Pro put myself, if I want, I could do anything I wanted. And I did maybe one show or two shows when David Corey wasn't there, and they were fun to do. And I recently watched a show that I did with Dave, and it was fun to do. But my passion was more into the creative, and certainly I felt I was needed more up in that control room and being able to run downstairs or get on the headset with Tony Falk, who was at the gorilla position, and him hand the headset to somebody to answer their questions or veto idea or green light idea or change my mind or whatever. Certainly, I wasn't good enough to be able to be or to be able to, in my mind, to not be up in that control room, even though Brandon did a great job and he could have done it. I was not like Bill Watts, where Bill Watts, I love the Mid-South commentary he did. I could, say some negatives to Jiminy Christmas. He didn't let his co-host talk, but honestly, he didn't need to, because they weren't very good most of the time until it became Jim Ross. But yeah, announcing is a passion for me, and I just tried to do it in the early days, just excited because a good wrestling match, Brian, even today with everything's happened, not only, obviously I'm smart to the business, everybody else is smart to the wrestling business, but when I see a match, I got invested in the story of Kofi and Daniel Bryan. I was totally 100% locked in to that match and excited. Now, it wasn't a match as a lot of people think good wrestling is today. What is it? A 182 star match or whatever those type of guys.
Thought it was, I was. We're going to stop it right there and bring it right back next week, right there in that spot. And let Randy talk about some of the stuff that he's been watching recently. We also talk about the controversial, and he has some great things about the Doug Gilbert interview. I actually brought it up at the very end. You guys will just love what he says. So professional at what he says, and you will enjoy that part. Now, as always, same bad time, same bad channel. That's next week with Part 2 of Randy Hales on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there! And as everyone knows, I love my mama.
Hankey's Toys is the place for your adult toys. All toys sold on this site are made of the finest 100% platinum silicone. From the texture, firmness, length, and width, Hankey's Toys are designed to please. Hankey's Toys takes a lot of time and effort to develop each toy. Reach them on Twitter at Hankey's Toys. Search YouTube Hankey's Toys and see the unboxing of many of their products. Also go to www.mrhankeystoys.com. That's right, mrhankeystoys.com, and use promo code SHIZNIT10 at checkout for 10% off your order.
Graphic design is very important. Your logo is the first image potential customers see. What kind of impression would you want to make today? Need a podcast logo or a t-shirt design? KT does art. Her name has become synonymous with quality and professionalism in the graphic design community. She specializes in graphic design, painting, and more. She provides affordable commissions and professional quality with a timely delivery. Contact KT via email at kt_doesart@yahoo.com. Check out her Instagram at instagram.com/kt_doesart.
That was another great episode of Shooting the Shiznit. Looking for contestants for Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever? That's right, contact me and be a contestant on Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever. A big shout out to our sponsors this month. Also, remember, we have a Patreon for only $1. That's patreon.com, Shooting the Shiznit without the G. A special thanks to Bob McGee at Pro Wrestling's Between the Sheets, Gene Jackson at locals2legends.com, and Sean Garmer at Wrestling to Max website. You can reach me on Comic Book Mark BT on Twitter, at BT Shooting the Shiznit on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook with a Shooting the Shiznit Facebook page. We have the Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk Facebook group. If we don't like you, we'll kick you out, but you also have to ask to get in. All the archives are at www.STSPod.club. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, Spotify, and all the fine podcast players. Podcast Roll Call. A big shout out to Creative Control. Keeping it 100. Memphis Memories with Randy Hales and my buddies over there at P3 Radio, Max and Josh. Also, non-wrestling podcasts I listen to, Who's Right Podcast and Po' Boys. Guys, I am Brian Trammell. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.